Hi everybody. As I said, the lives for today have been canceled, but I wanted to make a pre-recorded video to address some things today. The first thing I want to address is why I used the music that I used yesterday. I understand that to some of you, it made it look like it was a bragging thing, but I'm going to explain why it was used. And I'm going to, somebody had emailed me and had asked me and said their concerns about it, and they were very polite, and I wrote them back and told them why I used the music, and so I'm just going to read that part, what I emailed, because it's easier than just trying to find the words all over again. So, to the reason. I played the song I did, which is called Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar, and it's from the movie Over the Top. I have used that song before. It is part of my Believe in Yourself playlist that I have talked about. I have played that song as my intro before on my videos. I have a handful of songs that I use to help give me confidence, to pump me up, to pretty much just validate myself, okay? For 7 months, I've been harassed, lied about, defamed, and threatened. I was told very publicly that I deserved everything that was happening to me. I was told very publicly that I would be laughed out of court, that I didn't have a case, and was making stuff up. And the whole time, people are making fun of me for being scared, saying I have no reason to. Meanwhile, I'm not sleeping right. Anytime I see someone I don't recognize around my complex, I panic. And I don't feel comfortable being outside on my porch. Going through with what was needed to get the stalking order was petrifying for me. And many times I wanted to quit because of fear, but I did not. And that is why I played the song. I am proud that I was able to do what was needed to do, and that I stood up for what is right, even though I was threatened and bullied every step of the way. That harassment is still going on. I was up at 3 a.m. dealing with quite a bit of that. So my apologies if people took that to mean that it was a competition. It was not. That is not why I played that. I played that because I'm very proud of myself, because I stood up for what was right, even when I wanted to quit, and I wanted to quit many times. And I had a lot of people try to intimidate me into quitting by using fear, by using threats, and even through all my anxieties and everything, I stood, and I stayed standing, and I'm proud of that. And if that offends anybody, with all due respect, that's not my problem. That's yours. I've given you the reason, believe it or not, that's on you. I'm going to also address why I went on panels. My original, and I said this yesterday during my live, my original plan, so to speak, or whatever it was after court, I was going to, later on in that afternoon, make a live thanking people who supported me and stood by me. Unfortunately, one of the witnesses in the case decided to immediately go live after court and proceed to defame me and say I lied to the courts, gave misinformation on the stalking order and everything like that. So, yes, I went panel hopping. Yes, I did. Well, actually, I think I went to one panel, yeah. And said my piece and talked about what actually happened and talked about the facts. None of you should be surprised at that because I have done that before, have I not? If you guys think this was some sort of bragging thing, ask yourselves, how much did I brag when I was awarded the temporary protection order? In fact, none of you would have known about that because I'm not the one who spilled the beans on that, am I? But the minute somebody did and the harassment started with me, then I had to address it. And that's the same thing yesterday with the panels. Same thing. Just because I go on a panel or I play a song that's designed to, because I'm proud of myself, does not mean that I lied about having any fear. I was able to prove to a judge that I was justified in my fear. That's obvious. The other thing I want to address is there's a misconception about how the other party didn't understand what was going on. Okay, let me explain a little bit of the law to you, and you can look this up. If the judge at any moment in time felt that either party was not mentally able to understand what was happening, it would have been delayed until a mental or physical health evaluation was done. That's how it works. So I'm sorry if there's some of you who think that you knew more than a judge. You don't. This wasn't a case of not understanding. It was mostly a case of not listening very well. Okay? There was no, this narrative of people not being aware of what happened is not true. It's not true at all. Okay? And like I said, you don't have to believe me, but I'm going to say it because it's the truth. If there was any doubt, it would have been held over until an evaluation could be done. I've always said that, and I still stick by this, I don't care if my mods, people who subscribe to me, if they're in other channels and stuff, that doesn't bother me. The only time it would bother me is if people who claim to support me or, say they're my friend or what have you, are actively engaging in bashing me and helping with campaigns against me, targeted attacks against me, helping to enable lies against me. All of that, I'm obviously not going to be okay with. I mean, who would, right? And unfortunately, in the last 24 hours, I've seen more than one person do that. So, it is what it is. I don't have a problem with anybody who can support both myself and anybody else who was involved in this. I don't have any problems with that. But I do have a problem if people are actively trying to paint me in a bad light or engaging in what are lies. And that's happened 3 times in the past 24 hours with 3 different people. And, I'm not going to lie, it's upsetting, but it is what it is. The other thing I want to address, no matter what you are told, I am not bound by the same order. This was not a restraining order. There is a difference between a restraining order and a stalking order. I have no restraints on me because I have done nothing wrong. This is not the order goes for both people. That's not true. That's a lie. This is also a permanent. This is not a you have to re-up it yearly. That's not what this is. Okay? Now we're going to get to why I'm having so much more harassment today. I am going to read you what it says about Oregon hearings that are done remotely. Oregon Judicial Department Remote Hearings Public Access Guide. Anybody who listened yesterday went through this, whether it's by phone or video. What to know before joining a WebEx event. Do not record the hearing without official approval from the court. Do not broadcast or live stream the hearing. Some hearings can only be viewed within the courthouse, meaning you have to be at the courthouse building and in the room. Some hearings can only be viewed within the courthouse, including but not limited to, and then there's a big list, and right there in the middle is protective proceedings, which is what this was. It goes on to say, to enter an Oregon Judicial Department WebEx session, you must agree to the following disclaimer before joining. And everybody had to. You had to click this little box to be granted access. And it says, you will not record, copy, distribute, or otherwise make available any audio recording or visual image of the proceeding without express permission from the court. I have gotten quite a bit of hate comments talking about, well, people can say what they want, they can do what they want, and, you're going to get clapback, and that's the way it is. And here's the thing, that's really not the way it is. I don't care what people say about me. Everybody has a right to their opinion, and I don't care that people are talking about the hearing. Don't get it twisted. I don't care about any of that. What I do care about is the attacks that have happened to me because people viewed that unlawfully, and I have the attacks to back me up. I have proof of them. They've been going on all night into today. There is a reason, at least in Oregon, I can't speak for any other state, but it doesn't matter because what we're talking about is the state of Oregon where the hearing was held. Oregon takes the protection of people who are there for PTOs, for restraining orders, for stalking orders. They take that it's important because you can put somebody's life in danger. And those of you who did that, you put me in danger, and you also put the other party in danger too. It wasn't okay. And it's not allowed. Next thing I want to address is I am the only spokesperson that speaks for me. The only other person that will ever speak for me is my legal counsel. Not my husband, not my friends, and not my mods. It's come to my attention that there may be some instances where people took it upon themselves to give direction to other people and to speak as if they were speaking on my behalf. That is not true. If you are ever in doubt, if you're ever wondering if somebody says, well, Noodle Mash said this, or I'm speaking for Noodle Mash, or I'm speaking on behalf of, let me know. As long as you come at me respectfully, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, right? I don't care, if you, whose community you belong into, as long as you come at me with respect. And anybody can tell you that in the last couple of days, I've had people come at me, but they've been respectful. They've said, hey, I'm concerned about this, or can you tell me why you would? And I answer as respectfully as I'm treated. Because keep in mind, I don't owe anybody an answer. So if you come at me and you're targeting me and you're all up and you're all crazy-eyed, puffy-chested, we're not going to have a conversation. Okay, so anybody who wants to know if what somebody said, if that's something that I said was okay to do, or if that's something I endorse or anything, just come and ask me. That's all you have to do. Is just ask me with respect what's going on, and I will tell you. But unless you've heard it from my mouth or my attorney, then you can assume it did not come from me. And that includes my husband. That includes my mods. That includes my friends on here, and that includes my real-life friends that follow me on here. Only Noodle speaks for Noodle, unless it's my legal counsel. I apologize if anyone felt that they weren't talked to respectfully by anybody, or emailed or whatever respectfully by anybody, claiming that they were speaking for me. I have instructed no one except for my lawyer to speak for me. That being said, I have, at this moment in time, turned comments off on everything. I have been wanting to do that for a long time, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it until now for reasons that I'm not going to go into. That it hurts me to have to do this because I should say I wanted to do it for a long time. I feel like I should have done this before, but I didn't want to. And because I enjoy interacting with my subscribers. I enjoy interacting with people who are not my subscribers, as long as everybody can act like adults. I really like that part of YouTube. Unfortunately, there's quite a big handful of you that can't handle yourselves like adults. And instead, like I mentioned in the previous topic, instead of coming to me and saying, hey, what's going on? And hey, this kind of bothered me. Everybody has the right to how they feel. Everybody has the right to their opinion. But you don't have the right to harass me. You don't have the right to name call me. You don't have the right to make fun of me. You don't have the right to harass me. And you don't have the right to run around and lie about me. Okay? So, because there's so many of you that haven't grasped the concept of how adults should act, the comments are off. If you are a friend of mine, a subscriber of mine, and you don't bear me any ill will, you can email me. My email's on my about page, and I'll say it here. It's I am noodlemash@gmail.com. We upped the parameters of the spam filter. Certain people's emails, it'll immediately go into spam. Certain people's names immediately go into spam. So if people are looking to harass me that way, it's not going to happen. My YouTube phone is also on and available for people who have that number. I'm obviously not going to give out that number. However, if, again, you are a subscriber of mine and you want to speak with me or you need to vent or what have you, you can always also text me at that number. If you want that number, you can email me and I will give it to you if you are somebody that I am friendly with. So I'm not happy about having to turn off the comments, but I think it's needed right now until people can get a grasp of how to act. I know that I probably sound pretty harsh in this video. I did not get to sleep till almost 4 a.m. And I've been having trouble sleeping for a long time now. And last night wasn't any better. So I'm going to again ask that people treat me with the respect that I treat them. If you don't like me, don't watch me. If you don't like what I've done, well, I don't know what to tell you. It is irrelevant if people think that I didn't have a reason to be scared because I'm scared. Like I said, I was able to prove the burden of proof was on you guys, and I proved it. I proved it. And I used not even a quarter of the evidence that I had. So you can think about me what you want. And you can, if you want to think I'm a monster, that's on you. That's your opinion. The truth is, I'm not. Unfortunately, I don't know when any more lives will be done at this point. I will still be utilizing my community page because I like to post funny memes and I like to post pictures of my cats and the leggings and stuff. So I still will be using those. But as I said, unfortunately, comments will be off for the next unforeseen or whatever amount of time. I don't know if unforeseen. I don't think unforeseen is word. Indeterminate amount of time. I'm tired. I'm super tired. It's noon my time, and it feels like it's 3 in the morning. So if you made it this far, 20 minutes in, thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I love you guys that have supported me. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask again that everybody respect all parties in that hearing, that nobody attack either party in any shape, way, or form. That only makes everything worse for all people, and it's not okay. Thanks, everybody. I love you. Tell somebody you love them today.